Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat here on LitTube. Baltimore Ravens had a pretty awesome draft, and that is what we're going to talk about tonight. So, Ross, do you want to break down who we drafted? Why don't we get that out the way?
I guess I can start this off here.
Let's just go round by round.
Yeah.
So in the first round, we had Rashad Bateman, drafted number 27 overall. And then Odafe Owe, linebacker out of Penn State, drafted number 31 overall. So you have a receiver and an edge rusher drafted in the first round. These are two key positions the Ravens needed. Yeah, Matt Judon leaving. Calais Campbell isn't getting any younger, and he's not even an edge. But, Ngakoue Unique, he's gone. So, they're lacking there. They answered that with Odafe, and I'm excited for it, dude. What do you think about this pick? We'll start with that.
Well, like I said, I like it. I'm not as concerned as some people have been that he had no sacks last year. Big Ten had a weird year in college football. They weren't going to start. They started late. Mm-hmm. So numbers are hard to look at. It's a need, especially we need. He's, 6'5", almost 260 coming off the edge. It's, like I said, we lost both our edge rushers. And, I think he's going to fit in day one, especially if he's going to be able to go to the training facility compared to last year's rookies didn't get to.
Yeah. Jordan?
Yeah, Odafe to me, he runs a 4.3. I think he honestly was the most athletic, freaky specimen of the entire draft. The Ravens kind of were drooling when he was there. And you're going to a team that develops defensive ends, defensive linemen like nobody. The Ravens have a litany of guys that they have taken through the system that have gone on, that have gotten the Ravens compensating picks because they're getting paid big time money from all these different teams. Matt Judon's the latest to get paid. He was a guy that, it's a late round draft pick. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited for this guy. And he didn't have the sacks as Ross said, but he's a disruptive force off that edge that's going to develop, and he's going to build muscle. He's going to be an absolute monster, I think, for the Ravens. That I think he eventually will resign because he's a first round draft pick.
Yeah. Again, like you said, genetic freak. He's going to be a monster off that edge. Be aware. I'm most excited about this. This pick actually really excited me. The whole no sacks in last season doesn't really get me. I'm serious. Like you said, it's the Ravens. They develop beasts. He's got just pure speed, size. You can't coach that. You can coach skill. You can coach technique. Get back there faster. That's easy. But the fact that he has the sheer size, strength, and speed, that's awesome. That makes up for anything he didn't do last season. Next up, though, we have Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. Now, Ravens and first-round wide receivers. This isn't a good place for us. Marquise Brown still has time to develop. He's our latest first-rounder. But Rashad Bateman, I'm excited for him. I'm interested to see what he can do. What about y'all?
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, we might have finally got the answer that Lamar needed. We didn't. He's 6 foot, which is taller than most receivers we've usually been getting Lamar lately. He can go across the middle. He could maybe take the outside more, let Marquise slip more inside. But like you said, it's Ravens' first round wide receiver. He's got a hill to climb, but I think we might have finally got one.
Mm-hmm. Jordan.
He's that guy that, to me, the Ravens definitely needed. He's going to play in what they call that blood zone, which is that area, between the lines, in the linebacker. He's going to be running up underneath for Lamar Jackson, as he's going to give defenses trouble because they can't do what they do with Hollywood, which is you play a little bit back and blitz the hell out of Lamar. They've got to account for this guy. He's a big-bodied receiver, which they needed. He's a great route runner, one of the better route runners in the entire class. And it's exactly what the Ravens need, is a polished wide receiver. I think the 2019 season, the 2020, 2 years ago, was a much better season than this year for him. I think the pandemic kind of hurt him there, but he's got everything that you want in a first round wide receiver. And the Ravens maybe finally found that guy after several missed opportunities for first-round receivers.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we got 1,000,001 receivers that can go straight, and that seems to be our trend. Draft guys that can go straight. Torrey Smith, Marquise Brown, the history is there, but having a guy that can just run the route tree, that's worth its weight in gold. I too am very, very excited to see what that man can do. Of course, we didn't have a second round pick, but we had 2 firsts, which was awesome. But in the 3rd round, we picked one of the most interesting picks, in my opinion. And it's at a position where I feel like, since Marshall Yanda left, it's been a hole there. And I think Ben Cleveland's clearly big enough to fit that hole. Out of Georgia, I mean, this guy's a giant. This guy's a monster. He's not even built like your average lineman. He's got the weight of it, but I mean, if you look at him, they call him the mountain. This guy's massive. Ross.
Yeah, there's might be a fight for the nickname of Big Country on the team, and I know Tyree Phillip was already here, but I think you might have to give that name of this boy because he's Big Country. And
yeah,
as you remember last year, we had a rotating door on the right side of our line after Stanley went down and Brown had to go over there. You never knew who was going to play guard anywhere half the season. Now we finally have that. He can plug into one of the guards. Bozeman can slip back into center. He can't snap worse than our other guys did last year after he hurt his hand. And then we could solidify the right side of this field. We got a plug-and-play guard that, like you said, since Yonda left, we haven't had.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to definitely play from day one. There's a guy that ran a 4.8 at the combine, which is literally he's fast or as fast as Joey Bosa. I think Michael Vick most recently said he's running a 4.7 these days, so he's almost as fast as the fastest quarterback in NFL history. Maybe Lamar Jackson's faster, but I mean, it's incredible. You're talking about a guard here that's going to be able to pull, that's going to be able to run up the field and open up the field on the left side right next to Stanley. And I mean, it's absolutely remarkable if the Ravens are able to get here in that 3rd round. One of the big steals of the NFL draft, I think. And it's a chance to, solidify the offensive line, which was a big problem down the stretch last year.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you go back to speed, speed and offensive linemen aren't something you hear often together. But, it's amazing, because you have Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins. I'm not going – if that guy's their lead blocker, I'm not going after him. I'm sorry. That guy's going to kill me. I'm not. So I'm really excited about him. I mean, that line in general, Alejandro Villanueva, we got him. I mean, he's like 6'9". He's a giant. I mean, I think the shortest person on our offensive line this year is 6'4". Of course, Ravens haters, Matt Thompson, I'm talking to you. They'll talk about, can Lamar see over the line? Well, if your lineman's tall enough that your quarterback can't see over the line, he's clearly not doing his job. Just straight up. I'm excited for this line. It sounds like the most powerful line the Ravens have had since Jonathan Ogden leased boots. I'm excited.
What I was going to say is I think there's a lot of question marks with the offensive line, but I think it's all there for Lamar Jackson to succeed because he is the most mobile quarterback in the NFL. So even if it takes them a little bit longer to gel, Bozeman may not be the center that you want, but if he is, I mean, if he's not, Lamar Jackson will be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And I think it makes whatever the problems not look as big.
Yeah. No, I think not even going too deep into the later rounds of the draft, but I think just even in the first few picks, the Ravens have done such a good job just really plugging holes. And, one of the biggest criticisms of the Ravens last year was the passing game and the offensive line play. And you picked up a wide receiver who can run the route tree about as good as anyone. And you've beefed up the line, picking up, like I said, Alejandro Villanueva, the new 3rd rounder that we just got. I mean, it's exciting right now. I am surprised they didn't draft the center. Are you guys?
No, I think they've always had the plan recently to put Bozeman back at center. Yeah. He played there in Alabama. and they kind of had a wink, wink, nudge, nudge agreement with Villanueva going into the draft. That's why they didn't draft a tackle. They knew guard was the spot they needed. Like I said, there was a center was out there that everyone wanted to take, but you got a mountain of a man sitting there, and you already have Bozeman who can play center. So it didn't surprise me.
Yeah. The Ravens also picked up later in the third round, they picked up Brandon Stevens, a cornerback out of SMU. I don't know too much about him personally. What do you guys think about him?
You can never have enough cornerbacks. Not with how the offensive run now. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember exactly who. It was either the Bengals or the Browns drafted one of the fastest wide receivers in this draft. You can't have enough cornerbacks. Unfortunately, Tavon Young, you've seen him with his injury history.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith, he's up there. And this could be one of those, we'll pick you now because we're not going to pay someone later, possibly Marcus Peters.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, overall, very good draft, though. Anything else y'all want to mention about it?
As far as the corners go, Brandon Stevens was a guy that was recruited to the Ravens by current Raven, former SMU teammate of him, James Brochet. So he came highly recommended to John Harbaugh. So that was part of that phone conversation. And then Sean Wade, who the Ravens took out of Ohio State later on, was actually the defensive back of the year for the Big Ten. And he's a guy that legitimately is a big-time slot corner. He's literally built. They put on the outside for Ohio State last year, and he got torched. But the Ravens have probably the best 1-2 tandem on the outside in the NFL. And this is a guy that's very physical that can run on the inside. For some reason, flourishes in the middle of the field. And so I think the Ravens got a potential steal here from a guy that's got a big chip on his shoulder that's going to come in and, be a big-time insurance if Tavon Young cannot play this year. And it allows you to, keep your big guys on the outside in Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters and even Jimmy Smith.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Great points. No, I am excited for next season. I'm also excited. Hopefully we can go to games this year. So everybody get vaxxed. That's my annual vaccination plug, so we can go to games next year. But elsewhere around Baltimore, some Orioles news. You might want to talk about that.
Go for it, Ross.
John Means to a no. First one in 50-something years. A complete game no. A drop strike out away from a perfect game. 26 out of 27 first pitch strikes. He faced 27 batters. Orioles finally have someone developed.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not gone by July. I don't want that to happen again. I hope he's one of the cornerstones of this rebuild that might be finally happening. Our minor league started last night. Some of those pitchers went off. I think the Orioles have finally have a future that is bright. It is beautiful.
Oh man, it's almost hard to imagine, but here we are. We might, people complained like the rebuild. How long is the rebuild going to take? Well, here we are seeing the first fruits of that labor. It's exciting. Hopefully, it can continue to build. It'll be a fun summer. Get to go to a few of these games, but big hats off to Means. That's awesome. I mean, in the first solo no-hitter since 1969. That's how first time the Orioles have had one since 1969. That's incredible. 9 innings, just one strike away. But that does it for our show.
Schedules come out soon.
Huh?
Schedules come out soon.
Schedules do come out. We will have an episode talking about that, no doubt about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care.